Happy Friday, everyone. Or as Kat likes to call it, why am I in handcuffs? So something weird is going on, this vaxxed versus unvaxxed narrative, as if they're jousting in the park like a low-rent version of medieval times, like it's something you could bet on with your bookie. Is it real? I mean, we're Americans with families, and within families there are disagreements, from sports to politics to health, to even easier choices like, should we put mom in assisted living or on a blow-up mattress in the garage? Laughing at mom in the garage. In your family, there might be someone who smokes, or worse, doesn't smoke. Or they might have voted for Bernie Sanders. Maybe they get coffee enemas because Gwyneth Paltrow said so. A shout out to Ducey. We all laugh at this, but we're respectful. Yet there's an us versus them narrative being pushed by the White House and the media, and they sound identical. It's like when someone shows up at a party dressed exactly like another guest and everybody asks, hey, did you two call each other? It's exactly what we should be asking Jen Psaki and Don Lemon. Here's Joe.
Millions of Americans are still unvaccinated, and because of that, their communities are at risk. Many of us are frustrated with the nearly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated. We have the tools to combat COVID-19, and a distinct minority of Americans are keeping us from turning the corner. What more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see? We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
This is from a guy who was wrong on everything. Here's the media.
We begin the readout tonight with a message to Republicans. Okay, we get it. COVID is the precious, and you love it. You love COVID so much you want it to spread in the schools, at the office, in the Walmart, on the cruise ships, and at the club. Most of the people I know who are vaccinated are irritated and really impatient at this point with those who are refusing for whatever reason to do this easy thing to save us from this nightmare pandemic.
The people who are not getting vaccines, who are believing the lies on the internet instead of science, it's time to start shaming them. What else? Or leave them behind. Because they are keeping the majority of Americans behind.
He's stupid. But what a ginned up conflict. These creeps are like America's gym teacher forcing us to play shirts and skins dodgeball when what we really want to do is play spin the bottle. It makes you wonder about the other conflicts you saw on TV. For example, was there really a conflict between all black people and police? Or was it largely a narrative created for eyeballs and angst? Eyeballs and angst. I think I saw them open for 9 Inch Nails. Or how about rich versus poor? What if the poor don't hate the rich? They just want to be rich, and the rich would be thrilled to help because it's not a zero-sum game. But where are the ratings in that? You don't have breaking news every time a plane lands safely, but put two passengers beating the living out of each other on that plane, then come talk to me. Or how about gender? Do men and women really hate each other? Or are gender differences what make men and women irresistible to each other? At least that's the case with my female fans. Those grannies can't get enough of this. Call me grannies. But if you subtract the media's fakery, could it be that we actually all get along? Which is deadly for the media. CNN wants you to think that blacks hate whites and whites hate blacks. You make that happen and everyone gets new shoes. But the moment a hate crime turns out to be false, it's disappeared like someone who hit on Al Capone's wife. And so the vax versus unvaxxed conflict is about as real as an argument over a Rolex on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. The vaxxed and the unvaxxed aren't the Hatfields and the McCoys. Unvaxxed girls are not forbidden to marry vaxxed boys. Romeo and Juliet never argued about ivermectin. It's all a fiction. The entire vaccine story, really and truly, is about people deciding when they want to get the vaccine. The media, however, wants it to be a war, much like this.
Thanks, Grant. This is David Brooks from the Chess News Network. We're in New York City, where the vaccination debate is tearing couples apart, hopefully. Here's a young couple now. Excuse me, sir, were you just coming from getting vaccinated?
Well, no, I went and got some chips.
Chips, are you saying the vaccine contains microchips?
Honey, who is this guy?
No.
Are you vaccinated?
Well, no, I just had COVID, so I have antibodies still. So my doctor says I don't need to get it quite yet.
Sir, how do you feel about this woman trying to murder you?
Wait, are you putting our family at risk by not being vaccinated?
I'm the mother of your kids.
Not anymore.
I had to drop out of law school to stay home with them so you could pursue your dreams.
Honey, the band is gonna make it. You can't stop.
The vaccine debate, tearing couples apart. Back to you, Graham.
Just like your mother. I'm so sick of this. Every night, it never ends. You're so pathetic.
I don't know what I like more, Cat's shoes or the cameo from the fire engine. But I've said this before, if Americans fight amongst themselves, the people in power escape our collective wrath about their own corruption and incompetence. It's why corporations try to be woke, hoping the activists don't realize all the bad stuff they do. Sure, we make underage labor work in horrendous conditions, but we're going to use 2 trans actors and a Mexican dwarf who's legally blind in the first ad campaign for these sneakers, so that'll get these whiners off our backs. Since Trump left the White House, CNN no longer has the conflict and no longer the viewers. There are no more Trump versus never Trumpers, and mysteriously, Black Lives Matter just disappeared. But as their ratings collapse like Hunter Biden on an exhausted hooker, they realized they needed a new war. The vaxxed and unvaxxed, which distracts people from the real problems that both Dems and the media worsened. And that's crime, homelessness, the collapse of our social order, food prices rising faster than pot seeds in Kat's apartment. Observing their own complicity, both CNN and Biden craved divisiveness. The us versus them would save them. Oh, at first they hated the vaccines under Trump. Now under Biden, they're positively fascist about the jab. Trump vaccine bad, Biden vaccine good. Joy Reid, please pick up the white courtesy phone.
I understand the hesitancy. Listen, I was hesitant when Donald Trump was out there controlling the CDC and controlling the FDA and manipulating them and making them put out falsehoods. Anybody rational was hesitant.
Now it's irrational. Unity is scary because it means the media isn't necessary. So they choreograph their coverage exactly to the Democrats' liking, create dissent among the ranks so those in power remain so. And their dissent must be directed at the non-vaxxed, an easy target until you look at them closely and find out who they are. Blacks suspicious of government medical edicts, women worried about getting pregnant or currently pregnant, young fit people willing to risk getting COVID because they're so damn fit and risk just about everything else, the immunocompromised and other medically unable to take the vaccine, and undecided people still making up their minds. See how different they are? You might even use the media and the Dems' favorite word, diversity. But in this case, diversity hurts their argument, so you won't hear that. But we get it. Joe and CNN are both in free fall. In Joe's case, literally. Joe needs something to save himself from Afghanistan. CNN needs something to save them from themselves. And that's why they sound exactly the same. Biden should start every speech with, "This is CNN." Because now they're both tainted. They have more contempt for a pregnant woman weighing her vaccine options than the mostly peaceful protesters who killed cops and did $2 billion in damages last summer. The fact that CNN has even 300 viewers anymore is scarier than running into Wolf Blitzer on a nude beach. And Joe needs you to blame your neighbor so you don't blame him. It's not his incompetence, it's their stupidity. Some unifier. Yoko Ono did a better job of bringing the Beatles together. Demonizing the unvaxxed is Joe's ways of inoculating himself from culpability. But sorry, Joe, you are a breakthrough case. The inoculation failed, and so did you. America's going to stick together, whether you like it or not.